Hey guys, welcome to the show, and today we're going to be going over your, my, and all of our favorite series, the High School Story series. It was an awesome series. If you can just listen to the song, this music, it's everybody's favorite. Like, if you know, like, this High School Story was Choices first like game. It's a separate game, it is still there. And when they made this Pixelberry Choices, like sort of this book video game, this simulation, their first ever book was one of the first ever book was Choices. So it was like a lot of people said that we read Choices and just High School Story because we like characters. And I'm pretty much excited about this to talk about this, guys. And tell you what, my first ever Choices book that I read was Choices. I first read Choices, then Amy. So Choices and Amy, they hold a very special a very special place in my heart. And I'm going to talk about Amy in another video. Today it is totally devoted to High School Story. So guys, High School Story is a great story game. It's all about high school. I mean, the music, the story, the characters. Let's talk about our love interest. First we meet Emma, then Caleb, then Michael, then Maria, and then Aaron. These five love interests we had, and it was so awesome book. I personally dated Emma, because Emma's character was super awesome. But Maria, let's talk about Caleb. Let's talk about and Brian. What an antagonist character he was. Sort of a jerk, and all those high school games. You get to be on the band. You get to be on the cheerleading team. You get to be on the football team, and it was super awesome. And the skills, sort of how you develop. And also from the main Choices High School Story sequel, like that was the original game. Sort of, it was another different kind of game, not a story game. So from there, the characters like Mia, the characters like characters like Julian, characters like Peyton, characters like other characters, even Max, Kara, those rivals of our very high's rival. That is, so that was super awesome. you know like their like sort of story, like in the end chapter, in the last chapter, right at the end, what happens to your foe and friends. So we also get this, we see what happens with Kara, what happens with Mark, Max. So it was really awesome. And the rivalry, it was also awesome. So this is I would say like my best Choices book ever. And if you talk about like Julian's story, like Wes and Julian, so let me know, guys, you had this option to tell Autumn to either end with Julian or Wes. So I personally advise Julian to end with excuse me, Autumn to end up with Ways, because they were together, and I thought that maybe they are meant to be together. But you can tell like Ways, like we all like how Ways, okay, something is happening. Ways knows that, all right, so this is going down, and if you ask him for help, like he would say, all right, I can give you, but something for something, something for nothing. That's not true. So it's always his character. Julian, the team captain, and his nemesis is Max. And we know, like, when he's gonna go to college, there probably he's gonna take football, and again Max is also gonna take a football, and probably they ended up in the same college. I don't remember. I have to read the last chapter again. But we see that somehow, like, they are gonna be each other's nemesis. Probably in his rival college, there is Max again. And then we see, like, this at the end of first chapter. This is really funny. How we, like, remember there was this sort of one wand or something. We dropped it to the ground that jinxed, like, our opposition school are gonna lose. So that was really fun. And everything was sort of fun. And it was like, enjoying like a childhood, that if you even didn't have this kind of school, if you don't belong from those culture school, if you have a totally different kind of school, or if you're even homeschooled, so if you get to play this and you get to enjoy sort of everything. And it's just I can guarantee, like, you can't not love this book, because for many reasons. And let's talk about the characters. I'm on top of my head, I can think of Emma, sweet, straightforward. And we see like this special thing, like our main character's father, probably he's divorced with our mom, so we live with our father. And with Emma's mom, with whom, like, we try to just do a little matchmaking, our main character's father and Emma's mom. And they say like they would probably give it a time, but what happens with them, we probably it never told it this story. But our main character's father, it was super awesome. Like the sort of like like he's like the joking dad. Dad jokes he always cracks, and sometimes he's really unhappy. It doesn't make any effort, but in effect, but he puts in the effort, and I really liked our main character's father. It was an awesome character. And let's talk about Maria. How in the first chapter, from in the first book, from first to middle chapters, we see like he's a tough girl. Always work, work, work. Then at the end and throughout the second and third book, you see like she's more open, but still with her like tough girl attitude. And like she's really she workaholic, and she really likes student body president, sort of. So it was really awesome. Let's talk about Caleb. Caleb was a football star, and sort of he like with Zoe, with her, his breakup, then he becomes our love interest. Let's talk about who else we're leaving out. Adin Zohu. So Adin was an awesome. He was the member of the band, and that was really awesome with him. And so Michael's character, like a lot of people liked Michael, and he was like, oh, like people dreamed like, oh my gosh, I should have Michael in my real life as love interest, because this character it's just not limited to the books. It's sort of people started to fantasize, and it is true, like they fantasize this about any choices book. But for HS's high school story, it was different. Like first book, it was mostly about Oliver M. Berry High School versus its opponent rival, taking them down. Bryant went to that school, and then there's all rivalry stuff and winning the homecoming game, having the homecoming party, the dance, taking your date there. The second chapter is about Isha, if you remember. I think I'm getting her name right. Isha, with like your evil principal. He was vice principal, and when your principal stepped down because she got caught kissing your football coach, so then Isha steps up as principal, and she's not up to any good. Like the school was a hellhole, and everybody was turned against everyone, and everybody was fighting. Everything was breaking apart. I was not liking it, but at the end, everything went good, and it was super awesome. The winter festival at Peyton's house, it was awesome, and we get this diamond scene. We can keep our old Principal Hughes, and Principal Hughes' character was awesome. She was so funny, she was so adorable, and every character, I keep saying every character, you can't not love them. You have to love them. These characters are jewel. And then in the third book, we see mainly our opposition school. It got burned. So after it is burned down by some accident, they come to our school, and that's the last book of this high school original trilogy. Max, Kara, and Brian. Oh my God! Like it's Zoe, so it's like we have to put up with the devils. But Zoe, at the end we see like they come around. But Max and Kara, they were our enemy till the end. But we found a lot of friends like Jade in the team. Like there was this Jeopardy, like sort of we were the victim, like we sort of vandalized, or you know we sort of sabotaged Jade's spot, but we didn't do that. Who did that? That Max and Kara. So it was really fun, all the things. And the prom night, maybe if you didn't have your own prom, or if you didn't like it, just accept it. Let's just accept it, like it was the prom you wanted. You guys dream of having, like regardless of how old you are, where are you from, and whatever is your like circumstances. Like this is the best book ever, like the scenes. And also the Oliver M. Berry High School, the statue, it's vandalized. It was vandalized. The vandalization of this statue, and Michael's passed with it. You get to know everything. How so? It's just awesome. So high school story, Oliver M. Berry High School, its characters, cheerleading, band, the football team. And remember when Michael was the quarterback when we lost, Brian? It was just awesome. Basketball, baseball. I mean, it's just multi-dimensional book. It is not just limited to something. It's just awesome. And first, second, third book, it's just super awesome. So it has a spin-off in high school class act. I first didn't like it because I thought like I wanted to play as the last main character. That was high school story original trilogy's main character. But again, so the high school class act, I really liked it. And everywhere where and at every point where there was mention of our old crew, our main character from the HSS original trilogy, I like those diamond scenes. I took all those diamond scenes, I played it. But I'm gonna miss Oliver M very high. And this year early, even the high school story class act also ended. So that was the end of very high school story. And sort of, I think we got this one diamond scene with our old crew. That is the crew of HSS original trilogy with Michael, Myra, with you know, Emma, our love interest, Aden, and everybody. But the original high school story, that was a game I'm talking about. That crew, like Julian, Autumn, Peyton, and other people, they already left at the end of the third book because they graduated. So that's really interesting, guys. I wonder what is gonna happen with the whole HSS crew, our main character, and also the people who graduated, and all. Ezra, if you remember Ezra, the band player, and he was the brother of Caleb. And also we really wonder what's gonna happen with them. So also, like, it's really interesting. I keep thinking that like what's going to happen. So, like, it's really interesting. It's sort of emotional when I think about high school story. So that was it all about high school story. I just reminisced about it. So let me know, guys, did you like it or not? And like this book, I definitely sure hope you liked it. So let me know about your thoughts. Did you play it the first? Was it your first book too in choices? How did you like it? Who was the character in high school? High school story, original trilogy, who you dated, and everything. And let me know, like, how do you feel about this? And subscribe to the channel and press the notification icon bell, because you're gonna get more information regarding upcoming books in this December and in the next year also. Thank you guys for listening in. Have a nice day or nice night, depending on wherever you are. Thank you guys. Bye.